Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we are going to analyze step by step the reading passage 2 of test 1 of Cambridge Academic IELTS number 15. Now by this time I assume that you have already watched our important videos, the primary videos before coming here, like the video on factual information questions, the video on purpose, and the video on inverse questions, because they are the building blocks of what we will be wrestling with here. So technically this is the first reading passage that you will be going through in IELTS format. I mean, like the entire passage and the entire questions. But the skills that you learned in those 3 videos are so fundamental and so important that all the questions that we will be analyzing here are basically the skills that you learned there, especially the factual information question skills. So here you will see a variety of questions, but they are not really different from each other. The appearance is different. They are basically different kinds of the same skill, mostly detailed questions. And you know, by detail, I mean factual information questions. Now, let's get into it. So we have a passage. Clearly, we have 20 minutes on reading the passage and answering questions 14 to 26. The title is Driverless Cars. So, look, it is very important. So far, we have been discussing and analyzing texts that were just one paragraph, because I wanted to train your mind first on how to find those questions. But they were not basically like full passages. But here we have a full passage consisting of several paragraphs. So this is important. My recommendation, before you start answering the questions, read the title and quickly read the introduction paragraph. This way you will understand what the whole passage is about. Then go back and follow the same strategies, like keywords, finding those keywords. So read this and this. So we have questions 14 to 18. So if you read the introduction, you will understand these 2 things. What it's telling you is this. In the past, when we first started to use automation, that is machines, instead of humans, in manufacturing cars, it was beneficial to us. But today there will be a new automation, a new machine-based operation, and it is not with manufacturing cars, rather it is the cars themselves. So basically we will be reading a passage that talks about driverless cars, rather about automation of cars themselves. So there will be no drivers on the cars apparently, and machines or robots will be basically guiding the cars. So the text is going to discuss that. Now, analyze this in your mind before you start reading and answering questions. And by reading, I don't mean that you should read the passage. It's a terrible idea. You don't have that much time. We have already trained you. You don't need to read the entire passage. You cannot afford to do that time-wise. What you need to do is to go to questions and go with a question-based style. We have talked about that and we will talk about it here. So the only thing you need to do is read the title and read the introductory paragraph, and then think about it for a moment, like what will the passage be about? Move on. We don't need the rest. So we have questions 14 to 18. The instructions say reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs. Write the correct letter A to G in boxes 14 to 18 on your answer sheet. So you have 5 sentences here. What they're asking you is this. For example, think about this one, this sentence. Which paragraph in the passage is related to this? Or to put it more accurately, which paragraph in the passage is this sentence related to? So let's find out. So number 14 says, reference to the amount of time when a car is not in use. So we have talked about this in our previous videos. What are the keywords? What are the important words that are unique to this sentence, to a question that we are investigating alone? For example, to or the cannot be keywords. They are general words. They can be about any question. What is unique to this question is reference, time, car not in use. So basically, we will be looking for a paragraph in which the writer is talking about cars not being used and the period of that time, like how long is it. So if we look for these keywords, again, in this passage, I'm going to directly give you the answers. But my recommendation is this: before I give you the answers, just pause here. I gave you the keywords. Pause here, go to your book, and find it yourself first. Then come back and check it with my answer. I cannot pause it here, it would be a long video. So pause, come back. Well, come back. Let's find the answer together. So the answer is in paragraph C. Look, we have this sentence. It says, at present, the average car spends more than 90% of its life parked. Well, parked, it means like not used, right? When you park a car, you're not using it. So 90% of a vehicle's life is when it is not being used. So this sentence clearly shows that in here we have an example that the writer is talking about cars not being used. So 14 should be paragraph C. Number 15, mention of several advantages of driverless vehicles for individual road users. You know the technique. What are the keywords? Advantages, driverless vehicles, individual road users. And let me remind you again that when we are looking for the keywords, I'm going to repeat what we have already discussed in the previous videos. We are not particularly looking for those exact words. We are also looking for their synonyms. Now, pause the video, find the answer yourself, come back, check it with my explanation. Again, welcome back. And as you may have found out, the answer is in paragraph B. Look, this was a little bit of a challenging question because the keywords are a bit tricky. So we have be productive, socialize, relax. So here, the story of the paragraph is basically this. If you're not driving and if the car is driving itself by a robot, a program, whatever that automation be, you have some advantages. This process has some advantages. So what are those advantages? One advantage is that you can be productive. I don't know, you can read, you can socialize, or you can basically relax. So these are some advantages of automation, right? Or there is another key phrase here, safe control of the vehicle. So the robot will have a safe control of the vehicle, another advantage. Look, another advantage is mentioned here. It says, if the vehicle can do the driving, those who are challenged by existing mobility models, such as older or disabled travelers, may be able to enjoy significantly greater travel autonomy. So what this part is saying is this: there are some people, like old people and disabled people, who are having challenges, physical challenges, while traveling. And if they use robot-driven vehicles, those challenges will be less or zero because they don't have to use their body for driving. So I gave you a long explanation of the advantages of people who drive. Well, while you're driving, there are not 10 people behind the wheel. There's only one person. So the keyword we were having in the question, individual road users, basically refers to that. So you're one person, you're driving. Of course, there are other people in the car, but you are driving. So there are driverless cars, which we talked about, automation, robotic cars, and advantages, and there were plenty of advantages. So paragraph B nicely summarizes all this information. Now, number 16, reference to the opportunity of choosing the most appropriate vehicle for each trip. So here, basically, these are all general words. The most important part is here, most appropriate vehicle for each trip. Good luck, go find it. Come back, let's check it together. All right, paragraph E is talking about most appropriate vehicles for each trip. Look, we have one example here. It says, if we move to a model where consumers are tending not to own a single vehicle, but to purchase access to a range of vehicles through a mobility provider. Drivers will have, so basically they are saying that instead of owning a car, you have access to several different cars and you can use them in different locations with different purposes. Like you have advantages. What are those some advantages? Well, one is this: freedom to select one that best suits their needs for a particular journey. Let's say you're going to the mountain. You don't go with a Ferrari, right? You need to have a different car. So for each purpose, you can drive a particular car instead of owning only one that you have to drive wherever you go. Another example is here. Most of the seats in most cars are unoccupied. So because this is the case, like if you opt for having different cars in different trips, if you have such a case that you are not using most of the seats, this may boost production of a smaller, more efficient range of vehicles. So instead of the car having, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 seats, it could have only 1 or 2, and it could be smaller, and you can use it for your particular purposes when you're alone or when you're with your, I don't know, husband or wife, where you're going somewhere. So instead of driving a 4 or 5 person car, you drive a 2 people car. Another example is here. Specialized vehicles may then be available for exceptional journeys. What are those exceptional journeys? Journeys such as going on a family camping trip, helping a son or daughter move to a university. So clearly, paragraph E gives us all sorts of examples about most appropriate vehicles for each trip. Number 17, an estimate of how long it will take to overcome a number of problems. What are the keywords? Estimate, how long, which basically means time. Overcome is clearly a keyword. And problems, let's look for them. Now, the answer is in paragraph G. Look, we have challenges addressed, conquered within the next 10 years. Look, the paragraph says it is clear that there are many challenges that need to be addressed. So we have some problems that we need to conquer, we need to overcome. Robust means strong. Through robust and targeted research, these can most probably be conquered within the next 10 years. So here we have it. We have the time that we were looking for. We don't even need to go forward. So here is our answer. A time, an estimate, approximate time about overcoming certain problems. So paragraph G. Number 18, a suggestion that the use of driverless cars may have no effect on the number of vehicles manufactured. Suggestion, although the suggestion may not be used, it could basically be ignored, because even a sentence that you say without using the word suggestion is still a suggestion. So the keywords are driverless cars, no effect on, and vehicles manufactured. Let's get into it. So we are looking for a paragraph in which the author is suggesting, indirectly saying that it might be possible that even driving driverless cars may not influence the number of cars that are being manufactured. Let's say I'm arguing, well, the number of cars will decrease if we start producing driverless cars. But the author is apparently, in one of the paragraphs, giving us an argument that it may not be the case, that it might be different. Car production might not change, and it is in this paragraph, the second part of paragraph D. Modeling work by the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute suggests that automated vehicles might reduce vehicle ownership by 43%. So if we use basically robots, like the robot cars, people who own cars, automated vehicles might reduce ownership by 43%. So if we start to use robot cars, fewer people will own cars. They will use robot cars, which is kind of a rental style, which is as if you're renting one car today and another one tomorrow. But that vehicle's average annual mileage doubles as a result. What is mileage? Mileage is the distance that a vehicle has traveled, or it can travel, using a particular amount of fuel. Look, it says, although there will be fewer cars, but people will be driving cars more. This is the meaning of this sentence. So what is the result of that? As a consequence, each vehicle would be used more intensively and might need replacing sooner. Here is the crucial sentence. This faster rate of turnover may mean that vehicle production will not necessarily decrease. So basically, the author is saying that the production rate, the manufacturing rate of cars may not change. It might still not decrease. So the answer is paragraph D. Here is where we talked about driverless cars having no effect on the number of vehicles manufactured. So you might have been scared before by just seeing this type of question that they ask you to connect some sentences to paragraphs. They might even give you some passages in which they give you a title instead of this sentence. They just give you 1, 2, 3 words, just a title. Then they say, which paragraph does this belong? This topic belongs to which paragraph? So don't be scared. We are still talking about the same skills. The shape might be different, but we are still talking about details, that is factual information questions. So we have keywords, we go to the passage, we find the answers. So this is a variation, a new phase of detailed questions. Don't be scared, it's the same exact things. Also, we had an inference question here. For example, it said a suggestion that we know that a suggestion is not directly stated, so the answer will not be direct. So in question 18, we were having basically an inference question. So don't be scared if they change the shape. The same skills apply in different shapes. Let's continue. Choose no more than 2 words from the passage for each answer. No more than 2 words. That is, you can use 1 or 2 words. Write your answers in boxes 19 to 22 on your answer sheet. Now, there is a summary written based on the passage. So basically, this is the shortened version of the passage we just read. We are going to fill in the blanks. Let's read the first sentence. It says, figures from the Transport Research Laboratory indicate that most motor accidents are partly due to So we don't even need to read the rest. So here we have a full sentence. What are the keywords? We have an easy to find keyword here, a key phrase actually, Transport Research Laboratory. This is easy to spot. We also have most motor accidents. Again, in the passage, we could have different words, synonyms of these words. So instead of motor, we could have another word. Instead of accident, we could have another word. Partly means, well, not 100%. I don't know, 60%, 40%, 70%, we don't know. We will see it in the passage. So these accidents occur partly because of something. Let's see what that something is. Again, don't wait for me to give you the answers. Pause the video, go to the passage, look for these keywords. You already have the keywords. Find the answer, come back, check it with me. All right, the answer is here. So we have the key phrase here, Transport Research Laboratory. And more than 90% of what? Collisions. Collisions means accidents. And we have a number here that shows that it's not 100%. It's to some extent. It is partial. So research at this institute has demonstrated that more than 90% of road collisions, that is road accidents, involve what? Human error as a contributory factor. So what is the reason? Human error. 90% of the cases, the reason is human error. And there we have it. We have the answer. And only 2 words, human error. So the answer goes here. Well, in the exam, not here on your answer sheet, but for now here. So let's continue. The next part says, so the introduction of the driverless vehicles will result in greater safety. So we have lots of human errors. When we have robot cars, we will have better safety. In addition, the direct benefits of automation, it may bring other advantages. So here we are talking about advantages of automation, robotic cars. For example, we have an example. Schemes for will be more workable, especially in towns and cities. So clearly these are our keywords. We have advantages of automation. We should be looking for examples, especially occur in towns and cities, resulting in fewer cars on the road. So this is another key phrase. Let's go to the passage. Find it, check it with me. So the answer is here in part C. We have urban areas. Urban, as you know, means related to the city. We have automation, and we have benefits here, which means that the whole paragraph is about benefits. So let's read this sentence. automation means that initiatives for car sharing become much more viable, particularly in urban areas with significant travel demand. So what is one benefit that could mostly be done, like let's say in cities? This, car sharing. That's our answer. The passage is directly saying that car sharing is an advantage, is a benefit of automation, which could be done particularly in cities, that is in urban areas. So the answer, car sharing. Now, the next part of the summary says, according to the University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute, which is a very easy key phrase to find, there could be 43% drop in of cars. This is an extremely easy question to answer. We have very specific keywords, 43% drop, and well, cars is something general. This is easy to find. Please find it yourself. And the answer is here. University of Michigan Transportation Research Institute suggests that automated vehicles, another key phrase, might reduce, we had the word drop as the keyword, might reduce vehicle ownership by 43%. So 43% drop in what? 43% drop in ownership. It means that if we have automated vehicles, if we had robotically driven vehicles, people will own fewer cars, because instead of owning only one car, they will go for it, like different cars. We discussed it in the previous questions. One day you drive, I don't know, a Ferrari. The day after you drive a mountain car, which is why the ownership goes down significantly, 43%. So that's the answer, ownership. The following sentence says, however, this would mean that the yearly of each car would on average be twice as high as it currently is. Keywords, yearly, well, each car is general, but we could use it. Average, twice. This looks a bit more difficult than the previous question, but since it says however, could be close to the answer to the previous question. If you go to where you found the answer to the previous question, it said that automated vehicles might reduce car ownership by 43%, but, see, it goes instead of however, that vehicle's average annual, so these are our two keywords, average annual what? Mileage doubles as a result. So double is another keyword, but in the question, it didn't say double, it said twice, but it's a synonym. So we have the important keywords here, double, average, annual, and well, we could say but that's not really a keyword, but it helps us here, so let's count it as a keyword. Normally it's a very generic term. So that vehicle's average annual mileage doubles as a result. So what is it that is being doubled? Mileage. Well, and the mileage we said is the distance that a car is or it can be driven with a certain fuel. You don't need to know the details, just distance. So the answer is mileage. Now, questions 23 and 24. Choose two letters A to E. Basically, they give you 5 sentences. They ask you to choose only 2, which could be the answer to this question. Which 2 benefits of automated vehicles does the writer mention? What are the keywords? Benefit, automated vehicles. Well, we already saw the answer to this question in the previous ones, so it's easy for you to find it. Please go ahead, find it, check it with me. Look, now I'm going to give you the answers. It's C and D, but let's see how and why. C says, travelers could spend journey doing something other than driving. So we have travelers as the keyword, doing other than driving. Let's go to the passage. And the answer is here, free the time spent driving for other purposes. It means other than just driving, you can do whatever you like. We already discussed this, you remember. We said if the robots like drive the cars, you will be free, you would be more productive, you could socialize more, you could do some more relaxing. We already have discussed this, but the answer is here. So this is one of the advantages that the author mentions about robotic cars, that when you use automation cars, your time will free up and you can do other things than driving when you're journeying somewhere. So that's why C is one of the answers. The other answer is D. Let's see why. People who find driving physically difficult could travel independently. Keywords: physically difficult, driving, and travel independently. Again, a very easy to find answer because we already discussed this and we were just discussing it now. And here is the answer. The passage says, if the vehicle can do the driving, those who are challenged by existing mobility models, such as older and disabled travelers, may be able to enjoy significantly greater travel autonomy. So here it says people who have like physical difficulties, like older people, disabled people, and while they're traveling, they have difficulties. So if the car is driven by a robot, a robotic program, this will be easier for them. So this is an advantage of automation cars, right? Perfect. That's why D is the answer. So here we have C and D. Questions 25 and 26. Again, choose two letters A to E. They give you a question and then they give you 5 answer choices. They ask you to pick only 2. Again, the shape is different, but the skills are the same. These are the same kind of questions that we have answered before. These are all detailed questions. It's the same style, but in different shapes. So don't panic. Even if they play with the shape of questions, the skills and everything is basically the same. Don't worry about it. So let's go with our keywords. The question says, which 2 challenges to automated vehicle development does the writer mention? Challenges, automated vehicle, development. Select keywords from here, go to the passage, check the passage one by one, and see which one is the answer. And then come back and confirm it with me. Welcome back. The answer is A and E. A says, making sure that the general public has confidence in automated vehicles. What are the keywords? General public, confidence, automated vehicles. And here is the answer. Paragraph F, the end of the paragraph, societal, which means related to society, communities, again, general public, societies. We have the keyword trust here, and we have accepting automatic vehicles, and we have all the keywords in one sentence. So let's read it. The societal changes that may be required for communities to trust and accept automated vehicles as being a valuable part of the mobility landscape. So is this mentioned as a disadvantage? Well, for that, you're going to have to go back, read the title of the paragraph to see what we are discussing in this paragraph. The topic says there are a number of hurdles to overcome in delivering automated vehicles to our roads. And voila, we have it here. Hurdles means challenges, problems, and overcoming signals that. So yes, here we are talking about disadvantages, about the challenges in this paragraph, and this was one example. So clearly this is one disadvantage. Let's see why I said E is the second answer. It says getting automated vehicles to adapt to various different driving conditions. Automated vehicles adapt different driving conditions. The answer is easy because we were just talking about the paragraph in which the writer was talking about the challenges of this whole project. We go back and the answer is here. Difficulties, hurdles, overcome reliably, and situations. So all keywords. Let's read the sentence. These, what are these? Hurdles, challenges. The challenges include the technical difficulties in ensuring that the vehicle works reliably. We want to make sure whether we can trust the vehicle, where, in the infinite range of traffic, weather, and road situations it might encounter. Basically, the passage is saying one challenge is that whether the robotic cars be able to be used safely everywhere in traffic, in different weather conditions, in road situations. So that remains a challenge. And that is our answer. So here we had 2 points that the author raises when he or she is talking about the challenges of this whole project. Congratulations, we finished the whole passage. Questions 14 to 26. Again, fellows, I'm emphasizing, don't be afraid when you see different kind of questions. They are not different, only the shape is different. We are wrestling with the same skills. Detailed questions, inference, purpose, like these generic skills. Only the shapes are different. So don't be tricked and don't be afraid by different shapes. Follow the instructions, you will be fine. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you in the next video. Good luck.